Today I'm going to show you how to create this cute in the hoop puppy that has been designed and created by MillyMellyDesigns. Our first step in making this cute little puppy is to hoop up some stabilizer, and I have actually run the first step just to get it outlined so I know exactly where to place my fabric. I have placed my square rectangle of fabric over my outline. This is for our legs. So now I have attached my fabric to my stabilizer. We are now going to do the paw prints that are on each paw. So I have placed a piece of wash away and taped it down over the top of my minky because my minky has these large little dots. Just to hold the minky pile down a little bit more so that it embroiders a little bit neater. So now my little paw prints are done, and I have placed another piece of fabric over the top, and this next step will outline our legs and join our two pieces of fabric together to form our legs. So now our legs are completed, and as you can see I have cut around them and turned them both in the right way. If you look at your pattern, you will actually have a template for a second set of legs which are slightly smaller than these ones, which will be our puppy's arms, and the steps for those ones are exactly the same as how I have done these ones. So after repeating our first few steps, you should now have 4 limbs, 2 legs and 2 shorter smaller ones for arms. I have lightly stuffed them with just some polyfill. Just remember when you stuff them to only stuff them to about here so that you have a flat surface in which to attach your limbs later on to the body. We can now move on to our ears. I have rehooped with some stabilizer, and I have placed my fabrics for my ears right sides together on my hoop, and we're ready to start. This is all done in one outline. Okay, so that's our ears completed, and I have cut them out and turned them in the right way. You do not need to put any stuffing inside the ears, just leave them as they are. I have then rehooped and added 2 pieces of fabric with right sides together to my machine and loaded the pattern to do the bandana. Once your bandana is finished sewing, you can cut it around the outside of it and turn it the right way in. You will then have a little small gap which you can either close by hand stitching or you can top stitch it like I have. And to finish off your bandana, all you need to do then is to add just a small clip to each end so that you can fasten it around your puppy's neck. After completing the bandana, we actually now move on to doing the puppy itself. So I have done my final hooping and added a piece of fabric that my puppy is going to be made out of, making sure that your fabric is right side up. I have stitched it down. I'm now ready to do the placement stitch for the eye patch over the puppy's eye. Once your placement stitches are in place for your puppy's eye patch, you can then take your piece of contrast fabric. I have the same fabric that matches my bandana and my ears, and just place that over the eye patch, right side up. and then start your machine stitching again, and it will then stitch your contrast fabric to your main fabric. Once your contrast fabric is stitched down into place, you can then cut off the excess fabric around your stitches, and then the next step we'll do the satin stitch across the bottom part of the eye patch. Once your satin stitch is completed around the bottom of your eye patch, you will then need to change your thread. I have put black thread in because our next step is doing the puppy's eyes and eyebrows, and then after that there will be his nose as well. I have also once again placed some wash away over the top. This just stops little threads of minky poking through in between the stitching and just keeps our stitching a little bit tidy. The face for my puppy is now finished, and I have removed the wash away. The next step is to stitch the placement stitches for our ears and our limbs. I have decided to leave my black thread in just to stitch these stitches so it stands out a bit from the pink thread that I have used around the outside of the puppy and the square. So after stitching your placement lines, you then need to tape your ears and your limbs into place. And make sure you tape your ears so that the contrast side is facing down, so that faces out when you're finished. The limbs, the arms, the paw print is facing down. The back, the legs, you can either do that with the paw print facing up, which means when your puppy is finished the paw prints will face backwards, or you can do it with the paw prints facing down, and then your puppy's paw prints will face forward when completed. So then the next step will actually attach all your limbs. Once your limbs are attached, you are ready to do your final step on your embroidery machine, which is attaching your back fabric, which goes right side down. You need to actually fold your ears in, so I've just twisted mine over and folded them into the middle so they do not catch in the outer seams. Tuck your arms in, make sure both are tucked into the middle, and both of your legs can just be folded out over the end of your hoop because they don't actually get stitched in just yet. Your gap will be left across the bottom of your puppy where your legs are, and you will actually stuff your puppy from the bottom and then hand stitch it closed. So attach your backing fabric, and I need to finish securing mine. Just make sure it is well secured with painter's tape or masking tape, and then when you have finished doing that, complete your final step, which is stitching right around the outside of our puppy. So this is our puppy after doing our final stitch around. All I need to do now is remove it from the hoop and cut around close to my stitching without cutting through my stitching. You can see the opening down the bottom here, which is where we will turn our puppy in the right way. So now I have cut out around my puppy, turned her in the right way, and I have stuffed her with just a light polyfill wadding. Make sure you firmly stuff the head to keep its shape and hold it so that it stands up. As you can see, by turning the paws over when I was stitching them, the little paw prints are now on the other side, which is different to the little boy puppy that I did earlier today. I always like to close up my toys with a ladder stitch, which pulls the raw edges of the seam inside so that you cannot see them. Just tidies off, and it's a good way of neatening and finishing off your toy. So that is our puppies by MillyMellyDesigns, and you can find the pattern for these toys on her Etsy store. Thank you for watching.